your agreement to give us this interview.
Sure, I'm loving having a coffee party with you.
And thank you very much for your great support during these 3 days. You're just great.
Pleasure. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to be here.
So appreciated.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys have been lovely. You guys have just been amazing, making sure I get picked up and making sure I find my way, because I'm not familiar with these amazing letters, which look beautiful, but I just cannot read them. So I wouldn't have not find my way here. So thank you for making that.
Thank you. And we are very excited because you're coming in June.
I'm excited too to come in June.
And we have some questions.
Great.
To ask, and the first is...
So the first, how did you get interested in Virginia
Satir?
Models?
How much time do we have? How did I get interested in her? Well, it's kind of hard to answer the question because I'm bouncing from childhood, I think, to really how I got to know about her. Let's really keep it where I got first introduced to Virginia Satir. As I started my studies in NLP, I got to know, I learned about Virginia Satir and also Milton Erickson, Fritz Perls, and other people that the NLP model is based on. So I kind of look at it as a three-legged stool that, you know, that's holding the basis of NLP and like the key models. And Virginia Satir is one of the key models that NLP is based on. And as I got introduced a little bit through NLP to her, I got a body sensation, I got a resonance in me, not really intellectually knowing what that was about. But I was really curious about her and her work. I found out she's a family therapist, and that was always my wish to, as I was thinking about profession, I always wanted to become a therapist. But my pathway went a little bit different. So there was a resonance, and I was always curious about families, working with families. And she's one of the amazing women that had a great influence in the therapy field. Out of all these men, there was one big woman called Virginia Satir who had a huge influence, impact on a lot of people. And yeah, and another encounter I had, I was at a workshop with Stephen Gilligan, and we have this amazing experience which is called deep trance identification. And I picked Virginia Satir to identify with. And that was probably one of the most touching, rich, and deep experiences I had. I became her, and I felt her big heart. I actually had a symbol of a green big heart, and I could see it and I could feel it, and it had this healing quality. And I know that one of her quotes is, healing the family, it will heal the world, because she was all about world peace and healing the world, and that's something I really resonate with.
Yeah, it's great because Virginia Satir and her models are still terra incognita in Russia. And the next question about your June workshop.
Yes.
How it will be?
How will it be?
Yeah.
Since this will be a kind of a first introduction, what I'm expecting probably a mixed group of people to come. Maybe some that might have already worked in the field, or some maybe not. What I will introduce is what's called a second generation of Satir's work. It's coming. It's based on a model that I learned through my teacher Sharon Lushin, and she did elicit 6 skills, 6 phases that Virginia would use over and over again in her therapy session, no matter how long it was. And it's a psychoeducational program, so people from all walks of life can come and join. and it will give an introduction to the key models of Virginia Satir that I think are still up to date and are really rich and helpful, and it would be, especially for NLP people, also be adding to their models and probably enrich them. And it's a program that will enrich relationships. It's mostly focusing on the relationship you have with yourself, because Virginia was very much focusing on helping therapists to become congruent and help them with their personal relationships so that they can be their own best tools for working with people. And that's what I'm hoping to do in this workshop too. So we will go get an overview model, get all in these different steps, and then through the steps people will have experiences with different models of Virginia Satir that come from the Satir model, one of the key workbooks that she wrote, and then they will have some experiences, and hopefully that will enrich their personal experiences and also that they have in relationship to others.
Sounds great.
I hope so. I hope so.
And the last question, I think, about your personal path to NLP.
My personal path.
NLP, hypnosis, and
Yeah.
Virginia
Right.
Satir's work.
All of this.
I was always interested in psychotherapy. I was always interested in soft skills and that. And through my family history, I actually followed first a business background. I'm trained in a bank, I have an MBA, I have my business master, and so I have a long study of business. And then during those studies, I also started, because I was also becoming a leader. I was running a big company with over 2,000 employees, different nationalities, and different backgrounds, and there were a lot of part-time workers, different social systems. So we had a whole diversity of a lot of range of people, which was interesting and great, and it brought me in my business world kind of back to the idea about the soft skills. And so I got myself trained in various amazing trainings. I've become an NLP trainer. At NLPU, I call myself an NLPU baby because I started my training practitioner and went all the way through to become a trainer there. With Robert Dilts and Judith Delosier, and I moved from like really admiring these people, like, oh, if I want to grow up, I want to become like you at some point, to grow on the path and actually become colleagues and friends. So it's been a hero's journey of myself, and through that I also got trained in systemic work. I trained with Wage van Kiebert, and I trained with Dr. Gunther Schmidt, who's a very well-known German medical doctor and family therapist, and he has mixed a systemic approach, which is also including Virginia Satir's work, and also connecting that with Erikson's work. He studied with Erikson as he was still alive, and then there's also an element of solution-focused work. So it's a marriage of those three, and I studied that extensively, and then I studied with Dr. Stephen Gilligan. Self-relations approach and what he calls generative trance, and that has really enriched my understanding about poetic language and including the unconscious, and really also, I guess, the understanding of wiring right and left brain too, because a lot of times you find yourself cognitively understanding, oh, this is what I'm doing, I would like to change it. But then you find yourself in a similar situation again and again and again. So it's here cognitively understood, but it's this emotional, unconscious part, and that takes time. So really including that and full embodied working. So I feel myself blessed finding all these amazing people along the path, like Gunther Schmidt, like Stephen Gilligan, like
You're a part
Judith.
of the team.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Steve Gilligan's team.
Yes. So it's been a business, started as a business journey, professionally speaking. But if I look before, there was always therapeutic interest and soft skill interest. So I find myself almost like I'm circling back to my personal interests and roots and kind of bringing all of that together, because today I'm working a lot with family-owned businesses and helping them working as a family, but also when you have a family, making a business work. And that's a double, you know, it's a double level of challenges. And yeah,
Great.
so that's been my journey.
One more question, if
Yes,
you don't
please.
mind. It's about what specific problems could be resolved during the training and what specific results would be reached there. You already said about...
Right,
Yeah.
right. What specific problems? Do you have an example?
I mean, family problems, problems with your work, or...
Right. I think, as I said, it's a psychoeducational problem. It's not specifically focused on any specific area, so you can definitely include, let's say, challenging situations you might have at work with a person you perceive as being challenging and you would like to improve in that specific relationship. Take that as a specific situation and example, and work on how you are relating in this particular situation and how can you make changes, because I look at other people as like the weather. It's hard to change them. I mean, I can pray for sun, and it's you know, the sun just came out, but it's up to the weather how it's, you know, it's going to show up, and it's the same with other people. So for me, it's how can I change in that relationship, and so it could be a work situation. It can definitely be a family situation. You can get greater awareness about what are certain repeating automatics. What is it that how I get triggered and how I'm falling into the same, like repeating the same situation over and over again, and hopefully creating greater awareness around that. Where did I learn it? Where did it come from? And maybe also appreciate those learnings, that maybe at some point it was, you know, really helpful for me, and so that you can appreciate those learnings and then choose, are they still fitting? Yes, then I keep them. They're not fitting anymore, then I can let them go, say no to, and then out of the space of creating awareness and new choices, create something new that will lead me to the next step to really reach the goal where I want to go in my personal life, but it can also be your professional life. So it's probably an idea of we have individuals working, so we're not really working with a family system in this particular program, but you could name it as working individually with family systems. Because even if a client comes with one particular issue, we're also looking at how is this affecting your system, and how do we want to bring that into the space. So it's an ecological resolving of the problem and reaching your goal.
So it is about deep connection with yourself and being an open channel. Whatever comes, being an open channel.
Oh, absolutely. And also being aware I'm not here by myself. I have a partner, I have my family, I have my grandparents maybe around me. I'm connected to other people, and so creating awareness when there's something I want to change in myself, this will have effects on others, and also bring that into the space. So this is the systemic idea, I guess, that we just know as human beings we're connected to others. Yeah, so we bring that in the space too.
Thank you very much, Ivor. We can't wait.
Thank you.
When you will be back. It's so sad that you are leaving us today.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You back?
Thank you.
You back.